Nobody knows about this story, but I will tell you, Reddit. This is about my uncle. I think it was the late 70s or 80s. I can't remember which, but my uncle is old. He's like 50 now. Anyway, he took a trip to the Grand Canyon with his friends. They were driving along the Grand Canyon and stopped near this area with hedges/brush on the side of the canyon and decided to take one of your standard funny Grand Canyon pictures. They had a really funny idea. My uncle was to stand on the side of the canyon with a fishing rod and pretend to fish off the side of the canyon. So they ended up taking the picture and shortly after packed up and drove off. So they took the role to be developed, and when they saw the picture they noticed something very strange. In the picture, not far behind my uncle, was a man dressed in all black with pale white skin standing there in the brush, just staring at the camera with a knowing smirk on his face. He said he and his two friends were in that spot for about 15 minutes. My uncle and his friends claimed that they did not know this man and that they were the only ones in the spot, and the Grand Canyon was vacant of tourists at this time of year. They still know nothing about the man, and the picture still exists. And that was a direct quote from the original post by a user on Reddit who had shared this image with the world. So first of all, in the post by Brush, I think he meant Bush. And second of all, in the picture he describes the figure as a man dressed in all black with pale white skin standing there in the brush, I think he meant bush, just staring at the camera with a knowing smirk on his face. Okay, so fair to say everyone knows about the legend of the Grim Reaper. However, the Grim Reaper is just a fairy tale. Or is he? Well, according to this photograph, this should prove that the Grim Reaper is damn well real and we should all be scared. Or not. Let's talk about it. First of all, this figure is wearing a black cloak. Check. Second of all, he has pale white skin. Check. Third of all, he is smirking. Check. He's carrying a scythe. Nope. And he's looking at the camera, just wanting to be photographed. You know, to take away from the mystique of himself. Okay, so he obviously doesn't have all of the attributes of the Grim Reaper, but what makes this stand out is that if you look at the picture, you will see the uncle who's, you know, looks like a just normal average-sized man, and then if you look at the figure, which is highlighted by that black arrow, you'll see that figure is a lot taller than this dude. I don't know, I'd say, I'm not good with height, maybe 3.5 feet taller, that's just a guess. So the Reddit user said that this photo was taken in the late 70s or 80s. He said he can't remember when, but that is before the modern age of Photoshop. Sure, there was some photo editing technology back then, and is it totally out of the realm of possibility that this picture could have been photoshopped? No, it isn't. This picture could have very well been photoshopped. At the time this photograph was taken, photo editing technology was not as high-end as it is today. So some people who smartly believe that this isn't the Grim Reaper have offered more plausible explanations. The first being was that this figure was going to this canyon side right here to commit suicide, and that before he was about to commit suicide, he had seen the uncle and his friends traveling alongside the cliff, and he decided against it. Another even creepier theory is that this dude was just waiting for for someone to show up there so he can push them off the cliff. Sorry, I got goosebumps just saying that. And some others say that this is just a ghost. It's not the Grim Reaper, it's not a dude, it's just a regular old average ghost. So both of those theories could definitely be a possibility, that this figure, that this man, dude, whatever you want to call him, whatever, that, I'm just gonna say dude, that this dude was here at this cliffside on this particular day to commit suicide or to wait for someone to come into his path so he can push them off the cliff. I think as for an explanation, that could be this figure's abnormally large height. I don't think this dude is as tall as the picture may have you believe on first glance, because if you take a look, he is standing on a higher elevation as the uncle is just standing on a flat surface, and also because that this figure is closer to the camera than the uncle is. Now, this is very hard to describe with words, but if you just take a good hard look at this picture and at these two, you can see that this figure is closer to the camera than the uncle is, which, due to, in a way, which is an optical illusion, that just makes the figure appear taller than the uncle. The Grim Reaper is, and pretty much always will be, a fairy tale. The Grim Reaper as a lot of people, just view the Grim Reaper as, is the symbol of death. And death is supposed to be scary. Death is supposed to be something that you do not want to encounter, although we all die in our lives. But the Grim Reaper is more of a way of just scaring people. I'm sure there's better explanations than what I have to offer on what the Grim Reaper represents, but that's just kind of how I view it. Anyway, the philosophical stuff aside, I think the best explanation that can be offered for this very strange photograph is that this is just someone who was just randomly there on that random day, hiding out in the bushes for whatever purpose, and was just dressed up that way, was just dressed up in that black cloak. And also, like I said, it could have just been Photoshopped too, which isn't totally out of the possibility. I think that this figure is too precise and too composite to be a photographical error. So as you may have seen already if you looked in my channel description, I am actually going to be using a grading scale for videos and footage. This would not apply to, theories or urban legends or, myths or other stuff like that that I will be talking about on my channel eventually. This grading scale is exclusive for only videos and photos, and what this grading scale is designed to do is to give my opinion on the photo or video authenticity or illegitimacy. I didn't want to just go with a standard, 5-star, 10-star scale. I wanted to do something different, so I have actually decided to use a grading scale derived from Mass Effect lore because, as you may have known from my previous channel, I am a gigantic fan of the Mass Effect video game franchise. Not the most recent one, but the trilogy. So I am using this grading scale as a way to pay homage to the series, and because of how integral it was to the video game industry. But however, for any viewers out there who have not played Mass Effect, you'll still be able to get the gist of it, and you'll still be able to surmise what my grade is and how I feel about the photo or video. So because of the many explanations that can be offered for this photograph, really a hard conclusion cannot be drawn. So I will say that trying to determine what the figure in the photograph is and why he was there is as inconclusive as reasoning with Saren Arterius. Many people over the years have offered explanations, and it seems like this mystery will never be solved for sure unless the dude in the photograph finally one day comes out and says that, he was the dude in the photograph, although you can't really trust that very well because, any Joe Blow can come out of the street and say, hey, I was the dude in that photograph. So I don't know if a hard explanation for this photo will ever be gathered. What I also wanted to discuss today is I am going to allow people to send me photos and videos of anything mysterious you have captured on your phone, your camera, or whatever other device you may have. My email is going to be posted in the description below or in the outro card at the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you to everyone watching. Share, comment, subscribe, like, show support, and I will return it with the best content that I can possibly deliver. So thank you to everyone watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out!